Pinterest can be a great source of traffic, but what if you don't want to be creating those pins manually? Of course, you can go onto ChatGPT and prompt and get your image. However, there are two problems with this method. First, those pins will not be consistent to your branding. The spelling mistakes will occur time to time. The second big problem is Pinterest can already tell and can label your pins as AI generated. Those pins don't get as much views as the originally made. So I found a solution for my client who wanted to mass produce pins that will link back to her blog with her lead magnets. And the way we did it is we've used Creatomate to create her own branded pin template, and we then use ChatGPT to generate the background graphics. So we get best of both worlds. The pins are original from post to post, but also they're very consistent because we use her logo, which stays in the same place, and they look consistent and nice. So today I'm going to show you how you can do that for your brand. We're going to use Creatomate, we're going to use ChatGPT-1 image generation, we're going to use Google Sheets to create and store the ideas for your pins, and we will use make.com to connect everything. This tutorial will work for you if you want to learn how to create and how to design graphics in Creatomate, whether it's for Pinterest or Instagram or any other social media. Really, it's going to work for you too. So the plan for today is I'm going to quickly show you how the system works, and then we're going to go and create it. All the platforms that we'll be using today, I've included the links below so you can click and open all of them. I've included the download link for all the blueprints. If you get lost, you can always import those blueprints to make.com, and that will speed up your work. I've also included the prompt that we're going to use with ChatGPT. So let's get started. The goal is to create a branded pin that looks a bit like this. This is the one I've created for my client. This is her logo, and this is like a nice square box that always stays the same. It's slightly transparent. The background image is always changing, but the colors are staying the same and the shapes are changing as well as the text, but overall look stays consistent to her brand. We'll be creating this today, and again the text will be automatically changed per every pin, so as the background image and this image over here, but my logo will stay consistent, as so as my website address. We are using the Google Sheets as our database, and all you need to really do is fill in the pin ideas. These could be your blog articles, for example. What's going to happen then next is we're going to use this small automation, which is taking that post idea and is generating the text for our pin. So those 5 lines of text. This automation is also responsible for creating the pin title that's going to go on Pinterest, as well as the pin text. Each pin can have a text, and this is where you put your URL if you want to link it back to the blog article. So once we have the text and the image prompts, and yes, this ChatGPT, it will also produce an image prompt that we're going to use to generate the background images, okay? If we like the image prompt and we like the text that's going to go on our pin, we can change the status on the H column to yes, and that means that the other automation that we'll create, this one, is ready, and when we press run once, it's going to look for any of those rows that has the status selected as yes, and it will generate the template that we've created at the Creatomate. That of course will give us the image URL, and that we're going to need with our last automation, which is posting to Pinterest. So when we're going to press run once, depending on how many you want to post, it's going to go and look for the yes at the L column, and each one line that includes the yes, it's going to be taken, and that pin will be posted to the Pinterest. Okay, so to start with, we're going to go to Creatomate and click on to get started. Then you can log in with your Google account. Then you want to go on to templates, click new, click start from scratch, and then choose your desired aspect ratio. I'm going to go with 9:16, create template. This is going to be blank. Can change the background color to your branding. I'm just gonna go with a little bit bluish like that. The format, I'm going to change it to PNG. Now this is a good point to get some inspiration. So you can go on to Pinterest and just search for some pins that you like. You can place the text onto Creatomate. You could go to Canva as well. They actually provide a lot of Pinterest ready templates. Just click on create a design and just start typing Pinterest. I really like this template. As you can see, there are some titles. There is a website name. And also there is a background picture, which seems to be the same picture as this one. And I'm just going to try to create something similar and just use that as an inspiration. So back to Creatomate, I'm going to create a shape in the middle like that. Let's make it same color as this one. So just copy the background color, click on the shape again and paste the same color code. Or what you could do is actually make this one darker and the background just gonna stay 100%, just lighter like that. Now once you've clicked on the shape, go up here and click on this one. That means it's gonna be in the middle vertically, and this one is gonna make it in the middle horizontally. Corners to be nicely rounded, so border radius, just click on that and change it to, I don't know, 5. Now let's drop the shadow as well. For that, let's go with 50% and let's do the offset of 1 and 1. So as you can see, that's a nice little shadow over here. So that looks good. So the shape, as you can see, is transparent as well. So let's actually go and click on our shape as well and make it transparent over here. Let's do 50%. Now just upload any photo at the back so we can like. Okay, this is a square photo, so it doesn't work quite nicely. But now let's move the shape up above the photo. And as you can see, it's nice and transparent. Now the image, we should decrease the opacity of it so it's barely visible. Let's just put it down to something like 20%. So the image stays in the background. We're going to have another, like a placeholder at the top, a bit like with our design. Just re-upload the same photo again. And what you do, once you have it selected, you can go to border radius and do the same thing. So let's go and click on 20, or let's change the fit to contain. And then while holding shift, just make it smaller and smaller like that. And actually, can we do a stroke? Yes, we can. Let's do a white stroke. Let's do a shadow. White shadow. Let's do 50% for the transparency. Yeah, that's giving it like a nice glowing round. So that's way too much. Just maybe 0.5 perhaps. Yeah, that's okay. Now we're going to need some titles. Actually, we're going to create a little bit more of a contrast as well, I think. So let's make this one darker even more. Let's stick our logo as well. Whatever your brand is, you probably got your like a typography, so font colors and the actual font. So choose whatever the font you have. You can actually upload your own font to Creatomate, which is really good. So if you think the images and the shapes and the backgrounds will be dynamic and they will be generated by AI, and the text we're going to have on the front in this shape is also going to be dynamic, but we need to make some placeholders. So let's just click on here, and I'm going to create 3 different layers of text. So the first one, that number is going to be, let's create another text layer. Make sure you change it to auto-sized font. So whatever the amount of the text you put in is going to fit within this placeholder. And we are also going to change that font to... Now let's create another text. We're now going to go with 5 quick ways. Let's change the font to handwritten or something like that. Font color. If we change this wording to something else, let's say nations, you can see how it stays within that placeholder. 5 quick automations that will, and let's create another text, save view, and let's change that text again to fixed width. No, sorry, auto-sized font in the middle. Let's make it stand out. Actually, let's search for the complementary color. So if this is our main color, our branding color, let's Google what's the complementary color to that. So like the opposite. There we go. So we could probably use this one. So let's copy that color, change to the complementary color. That looks nice. So 5 quick automations that will save you. And then we're just going to use another text layer. The last one, 15 days per year. And again, auto-sized in the middle. And what other color can we use? Or this one. So just going to paste this color here. And I'm also going to do the text transform and do the uppercase. So the last line will be always uppercase. So that looks okay. Now, if you select those layers, if you click this little button over here, it will kind of spread out all of the words, all of the selected items in your Creatomate session evenly. So that looks good to me. What do you guys say? I think this is pretty awesome. And I think I'm gonna stick my logo into it as well, just so it's even more branded. So just click on upload file. Let's change it to contain. There we go. Keep it in the middle. And let's change the transparency just a bit, or the opacity I should say, because this is image. So let's go with 70. There we go. So it's not as much in your face. Okay, I like my pin. How do you guys like it? I think this is pretty good. So now once we've got our template, what we need to do is decide which parts of this template are going to be dynamic. So of course the image. Now we have 2 images and I want for those images to be always the same image. So what I'm going to do, this is a little trick you want to do, is rename those both layers to the same name. So I'm going to call my images image. Okay, and for the shapes it doesn't matter because they will just stay. Actually, we don't need this shape at all, do we? So I'm just gonna delete that. And now what you want to do is go on to each line of the text and change the naming so we know what's what. So for example, for my web address, I'm just going to rename it to website address. Again, the top number, just gonna rename it to top number, then second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. You just keep on renaming them so you know what, okay? And that's your logo. All the items that you wanna be changing when you mass produce those graphics, you want to have them selected as dynamic. So my logo doesn't change, so it's not dynamic. It's gonna always be there. But the fifth, fourth, and all those lines of the text, I'm going to dynamically feed our template. So I'm going to hold on to Control on my PC keyboard, or you can use Command or Shift on the Mac. Just select all of it and make sure it's set to dynamic. And the other 2 dynamic items we need is the image, so select both of them, and also just change the source to, and that's it. Change the template name to whatever you think is suitable. Just make sure you remember what's the pin template. Okay, so to start with, go on to Google Sheets and create new spreadsheets. I called mine pin database, and the first column I called pin idea, which is a source for the idea for the whole pin. It could be like a blog article. So the second one will be we've got 5 dynamic lanes of text in our pin. So we just need text 1, text 2, and then of course text 3, 4, and 5, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we need image prompt, a download URL, and it depends if we want to post it to Pinterest straight away or not. We can also save the pin text. Actually, let's put one more for the pin title, and the actual, there is 500 characters that go along with the pin on Pinterest. So it's not just the graphic, but there is always a little bit of the text. So I'm going to call this pin text. Okay, my camera died, so sorry for that. What you now need to do is go on to ChatGPT and just ask for a system prompt. Here is what I did. I basically start prompting with ChatGPT until I got the results I needed. I just said I need a pin title, pin body text, and I need 5 lanes of the text where all of those lanes make a sense as in one sentence. And additionally, we need an image prompt. It kept on giving me results and I was making some tweaks until we've got a perfect response. So this is the final system prompt that we're going to need. Now I've included the system prompt in the download link below. Feel free to copy that and make some adjustments to it if you want. However, I think this one is working pretty well. So I'm just going to copy all of that. And now it's time to go to make.com that we are using to automate the whole process. So once you've logged into make.com, you go on to scenarios and you hit on create new scenario. Again, links are in the descriptions for all of that. Now let's go and search for our Google Sheets. This is the first module we're going to use, and we're going to watch new rows. Now choose, if you never made any connection, you just hit on add and then you sign in with your Google account, the one where you've created your Google Sheet. So I'm gonna choose my content autolab and we're going to search from the list and just find your spreadsheet. So the sheet name, I've only got one, so just select it. The table contains headers and the limit, I'm going to set it to 1 just for now and hit on save. Choose all, save. Now, if you run it once, it's giving me the pin idea. It is because I've placed one of the pins ideas. So this is one of my social posts. So I just copy that into the first row for the pin idea. This might as well be your blog article if you want it to. What we're now going to do is add another module and we're going to go with ChatGPT. I suggest you use ChatGPT because it's really good at giving you a structured output and you can parse it straight away automatically. So we're going to go with create a completion. Just gonna choose my connection for this purpose. Again, if you've never made a connection for ChatGPT, what you do is you hit on add and you're gonna need an API key. You can get the API key from the playground.openai.com. If you've never been here, you just go to settings and you can get your API key from here. So you just paste that onto in here, and this is how you make your connection. You then be able to access all of the models. So the model I'm gonna choose now is just gonna be, I think, 4L because it's cheaper than the latest one. But whatever works best for you, you probably want to choose the latest one. But this is easy job, so you don't need the expensive models for this. So for the first message, we're going to choose system. So this is like a system prompt. We're now going to paste the prompt we've created. And for the second message, that's going to be user. And for the content, we're going to map the output from the Google Sheets. So just select pin idea. And if you scroll down and show the advanced settings, change the response format to JSON object, and you want to parse JSON response, you want to select yes. What it means basically is the output that ChatGPT is going to give us will be structured as defined in the prompt, and we will be able to select different pieces of data and map it to different places at our Creatomate template, which makes a lot of sense. So hit save. Now let's see if it works. I'm quickly going to copy this. Command C or Control C. Run this module only. It's going to ask us for the pin idea. I'm just going to paste it the same thing and see if it does the good job. So the result is, there we go. Pin title, pin body text, and it says 3 ways Pinterest automation gets clients. Love it. And for the image prompt, we've got a laptop on a desk with analytics on the screen, branded Pinterest pins. Absolutely love this pin prompt image. So what we're now going to do is we're going to generate our picture. So for that, again, let's go for the OpenAI's image 1, which is really good. But you could use any other image generation modules, like you can use Flax, which is really good. The Flax context is really good. I'm going to create a tutorial on that as well. But for now, I'm just going to go with generate an image, and I'm going to go GPT image 1. And the prompt is going to be the image prompt, and just select prompt. In the advanced settings, make sure that you change the moderation to low, because their moderation is really strict, and sometimes you're just asking for a normal picture and it just doesn't pass the moderation for some reason. Now for the size, I'm going to select the square simply because this was the format we were uploading to Creatomate, but otherwise you always want to choose whatever the aspect ratio you have used while creating the Creatomate template. And for the quality, I'm just going to go with medium because that's going to be stuck on the background anyway. For the background, I will just keep it at auto, and I'm just going to hit save now. Now, once the image is generated, we need to save it somewhere, or actually we could pass it on straight to Creatomate. Now, we need to save it somewhere because the Creatomate doesn't accept data for the image. It's asking for the URL. So for that, we're going to use Google Drive. Again, if you've never used it, what you want to do is search for the upload module. So upload a file, and then create new connection. If you've never used it, you just log in with your Google account. And I'm going to select from the list. So just make a new folder. I'm just going to select one of my folders, and it should be mapping straight away to your generated image. So just going to hit save, and I'm going to press save again so that number disappears. Now let's create a share link that we can use to feed the Creatomate with. Just search for get a share link, and the file ID is going to be file ID from the previous module. Make sure you change the type to anyone and just hit on save. Now let's search for our lovely Creatomate and render a template. Again, if you never created the connection for the Creatomate, what you do is you hit on add, and you need an API key. And the way you find it is you come off from the Creatomate, you go on to those 3 little dots, and you hit on project settings, and your API key is here. If you click it, it will be revealed to you. You just click it, and then you go back to integration at make.com, and you just paste that API key here. Mine is already established, so I don't need that. So I'm just going to choose my connection. And for the template ID, you're just going to search for whatever you called your template. So it is now asking for image for the background and the image at the top. So we're going to feed it with the web content link from this previous module. And as you can see, as soon as I place the mapping into the image, it does that automatically because they both call the same thing. So the Creatomate system treats it as one thing. This is an example from our template, but of course we want to dynamically map it. So for the top number, we're going to scroll down and find the output from the ChatGPT, and that's going to be our text 1. Second line is going to be our text 2. Third line, text 3, and so on. Okay, so Creatomate is going to produce an image that we want to upload somewhere for the later use. So what I'm going to do is upload it to a Google Drive again, and this time again I'm just going to search from the list, just going to select a folder I want to use. Now we don't want to map this one, Oh, actually, sorry, my bad. Creatomate is going to provide us with the download URL, so we don't really need to store it unless there is a reason why you do want to store your image. So actually, I'm going to delete this module, and what we're going to do now is update our Google Sheet. Just hit on update the row and make sure the connection you're using for this module is the same connection that you're using in here. So I'm using the info@content autolab, so as here. And now I'm going to enter manually, and I'm just going to map the spreadsheet ID to the first spreadsheet ID because it's the same one. Okay, so as for the sheet, and the row number that I am updating is the row number we have retrieved. The column range, just select A to Z. Now here is what we want to update. If we go back to our spreadsheet, I want to put the URL in here, and this is the I column. Okay, so in the column I, we want to place the URL from the Creatomate. I also want to, I was going to actually slice this automation in half. So we generate this first before we proceed with the image generation. Should we do that? That would mean we would need to create another automation actually. Okay, so we'll do that later. For now, I'm just going to run the whole thing through to see if it works like it should. So I'm just going to click save now, hit save again, choose where to start. I'm going to select all again so it picks up our first line, and we're going to do a test, shall we? So run once and let's see what happens. So the image is now being generated, and what we're gonna get is 3 powerful ways Pinterest automates. Really good. Meanwhile, I'm going to look for another post idea, so we know it works for everything. So my ideas, this is all about Pinterest. Okay, let's just ask my content bot, create new idea. I was analyzing latest Steven's tutorial. He's really good. I do, guys, recommend his channel. I've learned so much from Steven. What kind of content are you looking for? Pinterest focus, something to AI automation. Yeah. So this is my personal AI agent that has access to all of my databases when it comes to creating content, and it has access to all the automations in terms of creating automated videos and graphics. It's really powerful. Yeah, content idea. Okay, give me the post for LinkedIn. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with this post. Let's go back to our Pinterest database. I'm going to put it on our second row. And as you can guys see, the automation has finished and it has placed the download link back to our Google Sheet, which is here. So you can now preview the pin, and look at that. Beautiful. Content Autolab, 3 powerful ways Pinterest automates. How lovely. That's the whole pin. So I'm happy with this. We could put like a blue filter on this picture, but I like it how it is. So this is our result. Let's give it another go. So I'm just going to hit run once again, and it should go for the next row, which it has, because it's now taking the second idea and it's generating the image again. And there we go. It's finished updating. So let's have a look at the second one. Pretty good. 5 AI tools to automate. To automate what? See, this is why you probably want to be able to make some changes to it before you render. So I don't like how it says 5 AI tools to automate, but yeah, it doesn't say to what automate. And also those words are really short, so stylistically it could look a little bit better. So what we can do now is slice it in half. Let's rename this to pin generation. And what we're going to do is just one. We're going to leave those 2 modules in here, and we're going to copy those. So hold shift and then drag and select those 5 modules and hit on copy modules. Then go to scenarios, make sure you save this, create new scenario, and then just paste the new ones. The first module that you want to now look for is going to be Google Sheets and then search rows. Okay, again, make sure you're using the same connection. Find the spreadsheet ID that we are working on. And the filter is we're only going to generate the pins that we already like. We like the wording, we like the image prompt. So if we go back to our pin database, okay, I only want to generate the images where the column H says yes. Okay, if it says no, it's not going to be generated. So we want to be able to adjust the text if we want to. Column H must say yes. Filter generate equal to yes. And let's make it case insensitive in case you just use the capital letters. Now for the limits, you can go one by one, or if you have produced lots and lots of ideas for the pin, you can just put 100 in here and it's gonna do 100 pins for you like on the go. So actually I'm just gonna go with 2 for now. Now let's link it together. Now for the, if I just run it once, run this module only, okay, it wants us to correct the errors first. So for the image prompt, we're going to map the image prompt from here. I'm going to open this one up, save it again. If we run this module only, it has found one row, because if you look on our database, there is only one row that says yes. So it's this one here. What's going to happen is it's going to go and take the data from that row and it's going to create the image, and then the Creatomate will produce the pin, and that pin URL will be saved back to our database in here. If we now save this one, and let's call it pin render, save it. And if we now go back to our previous scenario, the one that generates the pin ideas, have this automation to be responsible only for creating the text and the image prompt. So we don't need those modules. So I'm going to delete them. And we want to provide ourselves with the data that the ChatGPT has given us. So for the text number 1, we're going to use text 1. So the text 1 is the column B because the column A is the pin idea. So the column B is going to be text 1, and then we're going to go text 2, then 5. Okay, and the URL is not going to be available because we don't have the Creatomate in this scenario. And for the column G, we're going to have our image prompt. Okay, so just going to press save now and save the whole automation, and let's give it a run. So it didn't find anything. Let's change the choose where to start to all, save, and run once. There we go. And let's have a look at our pin database. And as you can see, everything has been updated nicely. So I'm going to wrap the image prompt here. And okay, so if we run it again, it should pick up another post idea. So let's just run it one more time. Let's have a look. There we go. 5 steps to automate news videos. Now I like this one more than the previous one, but what about this one? Text 1, 3 ways Pinterest automation wins. That makes a lot of sense. Let's change it to 3 easy ways. And also in our other automation that actually generates the pin render, sorry, that's the one. We're going to update the Google Sheet with the final URL, okay? This is missing, so we're just going to select that spreadsheet from the list, sorry. Where is it? Search by path. There we go. Pin database, sheet 1. The row number is the row number found. Now the pin idea, we're going to leave it as it is. What we need to do is provide the image download URL, and we're also going to update the status to finished. We can change this to waiting. Just hit save. Actually, I forgot to map the pin title and the pin text. So let's save this one, hit on save. And if we go back to this automation, in the update row, we need to also update the pin title, which is J column. So J, pin title, and the pin text is the K column, K. The pin body text is K. Oh, there we go, and just save. Save this one. Let's change it, choose where to start. I'm going to change it back to all, so it picks up the second row again. And this time I'm going to change the limit to 2. So it's going to run through both rows. So run once, and in our pin database, as you can see, it's going to take this idea, it's going to redo both of those texts. So now we have regenerated the text. We can look through it and see if we now like it. So 3 steps to automate Pinterest, 5 steps for powered videos, images prompts, and if you want to regenerate, just change it to yes. And if you've had many ideas and you want to mass produce those pins, you can just do that. So let's just go on to scenarios and hit on create new scenario, search rows, make sure the connection is the right connection. Now let's search for pin database, sheet name is sheet 1, and the filter is going to be post to Pinterest equals to case insensitive equals to yes, and then just hit save. The limits, it's how many posts you want to post at the same time. I don't know, I'm just going to put 20 for now. Okay, so now search for Pinterest. Let's go with create pin. You want to make sure that you have added your connection as well, and this is straightforward. You just log in with your Pinterest and it's asking you to give the permission to make, and it's going to do that. But I have the connection ready. The important thing to mention is that your Pinterest must be a business account. So in your settings, you want to switch to business, which is something that you want to do anyways, because the business accounts, they perform better on Pinterest according to some Pinterest gurus. For the media source, we're going to choose image URL, and that image URL is going to be our download URL, of course. For the board, you just select the board you made on the Pinterest. I'm just going to go with AI automations. And for the title, we're going to map the pin title, and the description is going to be the pin text. And yeah, that's it. So if we now have a look at our pin database again, we'll see that I have one pin that is ready to be posted to Pinterest because we like the output. The other one is not. So in theory, it should go through those rows and it should only pick the first one and post it to my Pinterest, and the second one should not be posted. So I'm going to give it a go, just run, and it says it's now posted onto the board and it's giving us all the details. So if we go to my pins now, my profile, we can see that this post has just been posted now. And it's got the text and the title as well as a nice looking pin. We actually didn't regenerate. So let's quickly regenerate both of those pins. So I'm just going to go say yes and yes in here. And I'm going to run this automation. So it searches for both of those rows and it will basically regenerate it again. The running cost of it is really, really small. I think it's less than 1 cent if you calculate it. So I don't mind just running it a few times. So once this download URL is refreshed with our new pin, we're going to quickly check it if we like it, and then of course we're going to select yes and yes over here, so that gets sent off to Pinterest again, and we don't need that. So the first one is done and the generate status is changed to finished. That looks really good to me, and we're still waiting for the second one. It's still working, should be any second now. And this one is done as well, so let's quickly check it. Looks lovely. 5 steps for AI powered videos, really good. And so we can now just change it to yes, and let's go on to our Pinterest publisher. 1 and 2 pins have been just sent off to my board, and here are our latest pins. So really good. So I hope this tutorial comes useful to you, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you watch my other tutorials where I'm using AI agents and I'm connecting all my automations into the bigger system that I call Content Autolab. If you want to stay updated with what I'm building, there's some exciting things coming up on the schedule, so make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.